Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Joel Loins, and it is the 2nd of February at the time of recording. It's nearly 2 a.m. So I'm just gonna. I've got no one to talk to. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I got a hot chocolate. There's no video. I just can't be asked. I've got a breakaway. I'm just gonna talk about some video games. I don't know how long we'll be here. You'll probably know how long we're going to be here. You know what? I'm not even going to look at the time. I'm just going to go with my own flow. I'm always fed up with having to constrain to stuff. So we're so rebellious. We're going to talk with our mouths full. Try not to chew too much into the microphone. I'm also trying not to breathe into the microphone as well. So it's kind of this. I'd probably say it's kind of a slow week after last week's Nintendo news. Good video game stuff until last night, when Sony decided to drop the ball and drop that teaser for something, which is probably the PlayStation 4, or the Orbis, whatever they're going to be calling it. I hope they move away from the numbers. I mean, they probably won't, just for sales stuff, but so now there's a load of specs and stuff going around. We'll get into that in a minute. Because fucking breakaways. Get all up in your mouth. Diamond is never be too far behind. Don't keep it in tow. So I guess seeing as we're talking about the PlayStation 4, Kotaku, you know what? All they're talking about is the trailer. I've just realised. I thought they had, actual information. They've got some, stuff from Edge, but I like to use allgamesbeta.com. Super clean website. It literally just gives you the news. Usually heavy on the screenshots, but if you're looking for information without having to go to somewhere else, it'll always source other place, but if you're looking to go somewhere else, it'll list it almost entirely, unless it's too much. And I like it because it focuses on other stuff as well, mostly Japanese orientated games. I have a feeling, because the guy's Twitter feed, his avatar is an anime character, so I assume that he's a big JRPG and One Piece fan, because it's all he seems to report on. In between, the actual good stuff, it doesn't seem to be doing. It's completely unbiased. There's no author's voice, writer's voice there. It is literally just stone cold facts and nothing else, or stone cold rumors, however you want to put it. So Edge is reporting that the Orbis is going to have a redesigned controller, maybe in the shape of same size as the existing DualShock, but will feature a small touchpad to replace the standard start, select, and PlayStation buttons. It's based on the rear touchpad for the Vita, which I'll go into that in a minute. And it's responsive in use. I kind of hope it isn't a touchpad. Mostly because you are probably going to, in the heat of the moment of your video game, you are going to have to. I mean, it's probably not going to be that hard to memorize where everything is, but considering There's no if they completely remove the physical button, you are going to be guessing for the first couple of weeks, I guess, and it could be a bit annoying. But also, what if you miss and then you press the PlayStation button, or if you're resting your hand on the PlayStation button, and you go into another menu and your game stops? I don't know. Probably not that big of an issue. They're clever people. They'll figure it out. There's also supposedly going to be a share button on the controller, which, when pressed, will launch a new feature that will allow screenshots and video to be distributed online. And they supposedly continually record the most recent 15 minutes of on-screen action with no processing penalty claims are source. This is the step in the right direction, and I hope they expand on it if it's true. Let's Plays and commentaries and videos online to do with games are... they've always been big, but ever since, I'd say about mid-2011, 2010 earliest, when Minecraft hit, and the likes of the Yogscast appeared on the internet, and what's she called? The nice lady that they hired on with the pink hair, but she got rid of the pink hair, so she's kind of conforming to Mojang's boring look, kind of. Mojang, as interesting as Mojang are, and Notch is, they are not very interesting people. It is not. They are not very interesting to listen to and look at. They are very much nerds to the maximum, and it shows. But that's just me. No, but they are. If this 15-minute of on-screen action is constantly being recorded, I hope they expand on it so that you can set how long you want to record for, or you just press a button and it records continuously until you press stop. That would be a step in the right direction, and also if I was able to take that file and then use it on my computer, which sounds like it's going to be like that. I hope it isn't in the same style as On Live. I don't know if Gaikai, who Sony have just bought, had that type of technology or features behind it, because On Live, if you're not familiar, would continuously stream out so it was streaming the game to you, but then you were streaming the game out to everyone else. So you had people watching you all the time. It was kind of weird, but also kind of cool when you would notice that people were watching you and, telling you that through the method of thumbs up and thumbs down sort of system, that you sucked at Splinter Cell or whatever game you were trying out for half an hour, because I don't think anyone bought anything on that. So yeah, it's a step in the right direction because everyone likes to put the gameplays out, and there is not an easy method of doing it at the moment. Well, there is easy methods of doing it, but there is not a cheap method of doing it. It also needs to be in HD, 1080p. Even if the game doesn't support 1080p, the footage needs to be outputted in 1080p, or maximum, minimum 720p. I can understand that just from a perspective of recording and stuff like that. The launch supposedly by Christmas, and then early for 2014 for Europe. I think that is the wrong direction. It should be worldwide Christmas. Sony are not that big in Europe anymore. Maybe in other countries, actual Europe, not the UK. What am I talking about? UK's in actual Europe, but you know what I mean. Like proper, like Spain and Germany and Italy and stuff like. I know they own Germany. PC. I wouldn't say a PC because they've got those strict laws on them. But you know what I mean, like you see pictures from Eurogamer and Sony are massively there. There is no point of anyone else being there because Sony just constantly are barraging Germany with adverts and stuff. Oh, that's good. I put too much chocolate in, which actually improved it. That was a bit too weak last time. But they miss Christmas, and we're in this current climate. I don't think Europe will pick it up as fast as last time. If I was given the option, would you like the new Xbox now, or would you like to save your? Would you, if it came down to it, I would be like, I'd rather get the Xbox for Christmas. I'd rather have something new faster. I don't know. That's just me. I would rather have new tech faster and then wait, which most people probably do. I mean, people are going to pick it up. It's going to sell. It's going to move units because it's new tech. But the only people who can launch outside of Christmas now are phone companies and Apple. The big tech things like actual tech. Like, I separate this in my mind. Gaming tech is different to regular tech. Gaming tech has to launch on a tight schedule around Christmas or just before Christmas. So November and December are great months to launch in because people are going to have that money ready for Thanksgiving. See, Sony would be clever if they were to launch it in November in the US and then do a Wii because Japan and the UK don't. For those that don't know, we don't have Thanksgiving or any November festivities in the UK. Japan, I don't know. I'm not going to Google it now. I've spent way too long talking about this PlayStation 4 stuff. In the UK, November is a dead month. People are waiting for Christmas. It's wise to launch in December in the UK. And the rest of Europe, actually. It is wise to launch in December. But just because Christmas is coming up, people will buy that in time for Christmas. It will move. The US, I guess you could launch before Thanksgiving. By Thanksgiving, people have massive sales on software. Maybe not the hardware, but the software will be dropped down in price. People will go out and go, I want that. I'll get that with this new $100 TV I bought. And supposedly it's going to be still compatible with the PlayStation Move. I think that's a clever move. But also kind of don't care. If Sony haven't realised that motion gaming is dead at this point, then there's no hope. See, it worked for the Kinect because the Kinect is there's no. That's the thing with the Kinect. There's no peripheral, so it's no effort to use it if the option's given. Other than, the whole you have to rearrange the room and spend about 5 minutes trying to get it to recognise your hand. So and there's that. Specifications. Now, specifications, there are people flinging, shit left, right, and centres. People saying, it's just, breaking it down simply, that is, it's just off-the-shelf PC parts. Well, no, it is not off-the-shelf PC parts. They're similar in builds. They are not off-the-shelf PC parts, especially the new Xbox. Definitely not. Could you imagine off-the-shelf PC parts, but then upgrade a little bit? They got a screwdriver out and changed the screw around and stuff like that. No, they're actual, there'll be proper parts that based on other technology. Do not break it down like that. That's wrong. Now, the Vita, on the other hand, is supposedly just off-the-shelf old parts from Sony's. That's why it was. But that doesn't explain why it's still so fucking expensive. Hang on, I'm just reading this, so I don't have to read it out to you. Yeah, so if those that don't keep up with gaming and just found this, maybe you're a friend of mine, the PS3's architecture was royally fucked. It was confusing to anyone who didn't have Sony's backing. For the first, the first couple years, 3-4 years, maybe. How many years is it? Yeah, I'd say about 4 years maximum. It was kind of confusing to some people. Maybe 2009. Yeah, so 3 years. For those who didn't have Sony's backing, like the Unreal Engine ran like shit on it. Still kind of does. It was just the architecture was so bizarre. In comparison to everything else. Because like. Someone talking. There's no one in the house. Shut up. It was so bizarre. It was just like, because like games were easily developed on the PC and then moved to the Xbox, there's that smooth transition. The PS3, there's that extra lot of work, which is why games like Skyrim are horrifically broken in some cases. Is supposedly down to the software colliding with this awkward architecture structure of the PS3. So that supposedly they're making it more PC-like. This will hopefully see faster ports, easier for devs, which is always good. Now here's something interesting. See, I always get confused with RAM and this stuff, but I'm trying to just keep this moving along. There's links all in the bottom. You can read it for yourself and stuff, but so that one source is telling Edge that both platforms, Sony is slightly more powerful and very simple to work with. This is excellent news to hear, just because the PS3 versions of early games from this generation, multi-platform games, are always inferior in every way. So if I want to see Sony get back on top. It would be a shame if this would be the last time Sony would do something in games. I know that it won't be the last thing they do in games, because a company this large will restructure itself so it can support it. But like the Vita is tanking, But maybe this can save them, and they just need to book their ideas up. They need to put that software out. They need to get the software out just quicker and quicker and quicker. And it's like the Vita, you cannot have that 8 month, not 8 months, but that few month gap between one slightly crappy title, really crappy title, Call of Duty Declassified on the Vita, and then follow up with Persona 4. It doesn't work like that. But like only a few months later, you gotta get it out, done. So let's move on from PlayStation to Microsoft. Supposedly, some source looks like a LinkedIn page. Yeah, it is a LinkedIn page. Senior Product Manager, Product Planner, Microsoft Studios. 2 years, 4 months working there from 2010. In the Vancouver. I have been the primary product manager for 4 unannounced new IP, and have been a key contributor to bringing these IP from very early concept phase through green light to production. No one knows what these are. I would hope they are interesting to play. I mean, I actually. Who does Microsoft even own anymore? It's just like, is Rare working on something? Is it just another party game? Is it just like, is 2 of these just going to be crap that no one's interested in? I don't know. Let's not speculate what they could be doing. Skyrim for the PlayStation 3 is finally getting the DLC, the Dragonborn, Hearthfire, and Dawnguard. Let's not go into Skyrim now. I guess I'll flash these images up, because I'll have to convert this MP3 to video anyway. Cancelled Sony Liverpool heist IP concept art emerges. This is from All Gamers Beta again. It's everywhere though, you know. It looks like I assume the game isn't going to be like this. I assume the game. Sony Liverpool have I guess we should explain who Sony and Liverpool are. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Sony Liverpool were the Wipeout guys. They just got shut down, much to everyone's dismay. I guess the Wipeout game on the Vita was kind of like the nail in the coffin for them. And it seems like this IP was cancelled in the process. The art looks like it looks like it would have been going for a very realistic look. I know. Set in England, obviously, or many places. I mean, there's the underground there. Maybe 4-player cooperative game, possibly. 3 players, 1 player, I don't know. It looks, I'm going to break it down very simply. It looks a lot like Payday the Heist. Yeah. Payday the Heist I'd compare it to. Moving on, CD Projekt, The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077 guys announced their next gen ready Red Engine 3, which they'll be building Cyberpunk 2077 on, and Witcher 3. Everyone assumes this was their big announcement. I think they might have something else in store. Trailers that we won't even go into. What have you got for me? Whoop. Whoa, where are you going? Sorry about this. Whoa, go back, you fool. Right. Right. Let's move to before we go into more complex stuff. I guess we'll talk about the mother fans swarming the Miiverse. This is from Kotaku, how you want to pronounce it. It's just more Nintendo fans demanding that a game that will probably never come out over here get released on the Virtual Console. Well, I guess Earthbound has no reason to, but I mean, we got Mother 2, which was Earthbound. I assume it isn't coming out onto the Virtual Console. I was listening to 8.4 and I assume it's to do with what they were talking about. That game has samples in it that they can't exactly remove. I think, or is that Mother 3? Either way, if you want to play those games, buy them online. Own a physical copy of it. I mean, no one's seeing any money from it anymore. If you can find it new, more power to you. Make sure that you pay actual money for it and then emulate it. Especially Mother 3, because people put a lot of work into Mother 3 online, translating that. It's a shame that Nintendo... I read a story and I can't find it anywhere, and it's beginning to bug me. Nintendo are actually helping devs and publishers starting to move their games over to the West Side, through translation programs and stuff like that, which is actually a massive bonus if it does, because everyone gets super excited whenever Nintendo releases a Japanese game over here. Like, if Bravely Default comes out over here, I'm probably going to drop, I'm already willing to drop money on 3DS because of the recent news of Project Cross Zone. I always called it Project X Zone. Project Cross Zone got announced that it was coming over here, and that's fantastic. More Japanese games need to come out over here. Bravely Default. Fantasy Life. You should probably listen to 8-4 because they talk about really cool games. People just need to start translating games. It isn't that hard to find teams that are willing to do this. I guess it's just cost-wise, and even then, we have so many ways of just distributing these things now. You do not need to put them on a retail disc. I mean, it always helps to put it on a retail disc because people don't always have access to the download service. But in this day and age, if you have a console and you do not access the internet through your console, then what are you doing? Really, what are you doing? You're missing out on so much. I mean, understandable for like consoles like the Wii. Maybe you just have an Xbox on the side. Okay, you obviously play video games through some other... you get your video games through other means, but Nintendo now have a service, a very, very good service from what I've seen. You can download games from it. They've kind of like hit the nail on the head, almost. A day and date, digital and physical releases, fantastic. People buying New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS day and date without having to go to the store, boom, like that. You go to Square Enix and they're all like, oh, we don't know whether we want to translate it because it's going to cost us a lot of money to translate it, and it's going to because there's a lot of text in it, and it's going to cost us a lot of money to ship it over, only for 40,000 copies to be sold. No, thank you. Nintendo go, hey, we'll cover some of the costs for the translation. You just stick it out on our console. You'll see people starting to buy consoles just to buy that game. Because that's usually the mentality that goes behind Nintendo sales. Because I'm going to buy a Wii U for the new Smash Brothers and the new Mario 3D game and the new Zelda and the Zelda HD, Wind Waker HD. Yeah. Talking of translations and bringing games over, Xseed, one of my favourite publishers, new favourite publishers alongside Deep Silver. I don't know why Deep Silver have become... I guess I'll explain in a bit. I guess it's just because they now own... I like Deep Silver. They put out a lot of shit, but that shit is usually there to fund interesting and cool games like Dead Island and other stuff. So alongside Xseed, Deep Silver will be putting this out in while Xseed will be dealing with the US, Deep Silver will be dealing with Europe and that region. Killer is Dead, Suda 51, Grasshopper Manufacturers, new game, assassin game, in the same vein as No More Heroes and Killer 7, assumably. Cell shaded, kind of jaggy, weird look, coming out this year. I don't know why. And it's not coming out on PC, probably just because of Japanese mentality towards that. So Xseed are putting out Killer is Dead, Rune Factory 4 for the 3DS, Valhalla Knights 3, Ys Memories of Celcessa, and Ys 1 and 2 Plus for the PC. Xseed are I was talking to someone and they said, "Oh, we might not see Ys Memories of Celcessa, whatever you want to call it, coming out over here for a while." And there is no worries. Xseed have that covered. The Ys license, to translate an Ys game, they've been doing it for so long. They've put out every single one. You don't have to worry about the Ys games. Putting out Rune Factory 4, pretty good. More 3DS games for me to buy. Hopefully it comes UK side. I know they'll be doing it stateside. More Sony news. The God of War Legacy Bundle comes with a red PS3. People complaining that it's not red and white, which would have been pretty cool. It's just that bold. It's just that, not bold, but like murky red of Kratos. I'd say that if you don't own a PS3 already, like me, this seems like a really good deal. Even though playing that much God of War in that little amount of time would probably drive you insane. So 500 gig PS3 for $349 with all 6 God of War games, all the HD ones and the new Ascension, and a 30-day trial for PlayStation Plus. Not bad. This is from a couple days ago now. Polygon reported that HMV's Twitter account went rogue. HMV, for those who don't know, is one of the biggest distributors of physical media in the UK, and 60 employees got laid off from the company, more than 60 employees, and the Twitter account person who was presumably fired as well. He was tweeting live from the HR where we're all being fired. Exciting. Hashtags. There are over 60 of us being fired at once. Mass execution of loyal employees who love the brand. Just overheard our marketing director he's staying folks. Asked, how do I shut down Twitter? These tweets yeah, I can understand that. Physical media is dying, folks, and it's dying faster than everyone was expecting. And HMV and Game Station, or they're the same thing, and Blockbuster, even though Blockbuster claims that they're still profitable at the core, kind of haven't realised this, and it's biting them on the ass, and they are losing their legs. Is all going to shit, physical media wise. I was discussing this on the Cross Border Gaming podcast, and I said 10 years at most before physical media is dead. And Harold, one of the hosts, said 5 years, and I'm starting to see 5 years as a more reasonable thing, where physical media is just not completely gone, but you would rather avoid it. It's kind of weird, still weird to me to walk into a game store and see Steam wallet codes being sold. alongside Xbox Live Arcade games and other things like that. It's still weird to me, but it's only how they can make money on. Like, there was a store, I'm not sure if it's nationwide in the UK or if it's anywhere else, B.com, and they are currently in the midst of shutting down completely. 75% off everything. There's just like all these games off, half price and stuff like that. I was looking through the news section, and it was carnage. It wasn't carnage as in like, oh, all the shelves are bare because they suddenly realised that 75% off everything is a great way to get rid of these. No, it was like, we've reduced this by £10, we've reduced this by £5, and I was losing my shit. Like, I will silently lose my shit around my friends or just to myself. It happened when Game was shutting down. Not shutting down, but going into administration, and there were fire sales and stuff like that. And I went in, and it's like fire sales for like reduced from $49.99 to $39.99 to £35. That is not a fire sale. That is reduced. That is your regular sale. And I was losing my shit in the store with my friend. We were both losing our shit, and the manager was like, well, what do you mean? We're trying our best here. And I'm like, this isn't good enough. If you are really struggling, you've got all these pre-owned games that you're reducing by like £5 at most. You know that people aren't going to see any money from these pre-owned games. Companies that you are going to see all this money. Slash all the prices. Just slash them. Just like, what was out at that time? Like, it's like Pokemon Black was out at that point, and it with a 3DS, and it was like £180 still, and he was like, but that's like a good deal. It's like, you got a £30 game. I'm like, slash it. Yeah, what are you doing? Like £100, they'd be gone like that. You would be rolling in the cash faster than anything ever. I mean, maybe to me that makes maybe to them it's not logical. Just from a sales standpoint, like they would probably be losing money from that. But it's pre-owned. No one gives a shit. One of my favourite games of 2012, Senemura's director, working on a Japanese-Hungarian co-developed shmup for 2014. Good. It will be more conservative in its gameplay and less ambiguous in its storytelling, which disappoints me, kind of, in the storytelling thing, because if you didn't play Senemura, it was kind of like a fucked up version of Star Fox. Very furry-like characters and stuff like that. Valve are in shifts over in Germany again for the refusal of allowing to resell Steam games. I can see where this VZVB are coming from. It would be nice to transfer Steam games and copies of Steam games to other accounts and stuff like that. But you can also see it from Valve's point of view. People just buying games and then transferring the license over to another account doesn't work, because that means people want infinite amount of accounts, and then they can just sell those accounts off. It's like that Pack Steam thing from a few years, that Pack Steam scam from a few years ago. It doesn't work that way. Let's see what Doug Lombardi said. Is aware, but has yet to see the actual complaint. We understand the complaint is somehow regarding the transferability of Steam accounts, despite the fact that this issue has already been ruled upon favorably to Valve in a prior case. For now, we are continuing to extend Steam services to gamers in Germany and around the world. Look, It's all, you know, the only way you can lose your Steam account properly, like being hacked on Steam, can easily be solved within 3 days. It happened to me. I was hacked. They closed my account down because they noticed weird transactions going through. Like, why was I purchasing 200 games? And then they refunded my money. Didn't let me keep the games, which I wasn't too fussed about at the time. Still, I'm not fussed about it. Why would I be fussed about it? I got my games back. I spent £100 at that point on Steam. This is sometime in 2009. You can't lose your Steam account and access to your games unless you royally fuck up, which means pirating, hacking, just deliberately being malicious on Steam. Like, I have the username Rotting Dildo at the moment on Steam. Valve don't care what you do in the community as long as you do not disrupt the peace. Like, if you're disrupting the peace, like getting banned from VAC for hacking aimbots and stuff like that, they'll ban you from specific games. I assume. I'm pretty sure they do that. They'll tell you, you're in poor standing, book your ideas up, or we'll ban you, and you'll lose access to your games. It's up to you. It's not Valve. Don't, you know, if Valve were to go under, you know, if Valve were to go under, touch wood, let's just say, they would be very, very sure to make sure that you had access to your games. They would make sure. Valve are not stupid people. Let's move on from that. The game stick, which looks like a piece of shit. Oh my god, what is this? I saw it. It's more Kickstarter stuff. I was following this like for 5 minutes and I realized it was just another Android thing. So we're learning something new together if you haven't been learning about this. So it closed on the 1st of Feb with 600,400. Oh Christ, I can't read numbers. I'm sorry. 647,658. $647,658 in the bank. After it wanted 100,000. The game stick will now be released in 4 colors: white, black, red, and an additional color to be voted on. Unveiled the game stick's final design. Docking station to be included. USB ports and HDMI cables and an external storage devices for it. Backers who pledge for a reward tier without a dock option could pledge for an additional $20 to any tier to receive a dock. Begins shipping in April. What is it? Do I have to go find what it is now? I'm sorry, I don't keep up with these Kickstarter stuff all the time. Putting big screen gaming in your pocket. Oh, so you can play fucking mobile games on fucking TV. Sorry, silence. I'm just trying to. There's some Twitter hacking going on at the moment, and Stephen Totillo has just told the Kotaku thing that to go fuck itself. I assume. I don't think it's been hacked. No, it's not been hacked. If it had been hacked, they would be ragging on Brian Ashcraft like they should be. One of my also another favourite game of 2012, Sleeping Dogs. We'll be getting 5 more add-on content packs before the end of March. Let's have a look. story-based add-on Wheels of Fury gives the players new supercar, outfitted with armor and firepower. Will then have to race his new vehicle against 18k drug smuggling organization, and he can upgrade it with items. So it sounds like they're making a kart racer in car combat game. Oh my god, they are remaking Journey to the West in Sleeping Dogs, which is pretty great considering they just ripped off the Bruce Lee. I can't remember what it's called. The tournament one that's just come out, and they've replaced all the sounds with 70s sounds apparently, and it sounds fucking amazing. The Year of the Snake DLC will introduce a new set of missions that take place immediately following the main storyline. Wei Shen rejoins the Hong Kong Police Department in a struggle against the Cult of the Snake, a group seeking to cleanse the city in preparation for the end of the world. The pack will add more Tigras guns, electroshock pistols, as well as new outfits and abilities for Wei Shen's arsenal. You know, for a game that got cancelled, it doesn't matter that this DLC will be... The DLC might be a bit weaker than the actual game. The fact that they are pumping out more content and more missions for this game is pretty great, because I'll buy them, you know, once they've all come out and stuff like that, I'll buy them all and go back into Sleeping Dogs. Probably just replay the entire game itself. Sleeping Dogs was great. You go in, you're expecting this half-baked GTA knockoff like the last two true crime games that they made, and it's not. It is got this cool combat system in it, which is like a stiffer version of the Batman combat, but it's still pretty good. It's got this wicked storyline. It's not the strongest storyline ever, but it's well acted. It's pretty cool. They've got all these side missions, you know, police missions, triad missions. Characters, pretty cool. It's just a cool game. It's a solid game, and it's not a mediocre solid game like Darksiders 2. It's that came out at the same time. It is a proper, you know, and it also looks amazing on PC. It just looked gorgeous all the time. Bethesda is now hiring for programmers on an unannounced next-gen console game. I assume it's Fallout 4. Because that's what Bethesda seem to be doing at this point in time. They don't seem to be making anything else other than Elder Scrolls and Fallout. I would like to see another game other than Fallout or Elder Scrolls, because the Skyrim, as much as okay, my opinion, I didn't like Skyrim. Obviously it's my opinion. Why are you going to question it? I didn't like Skyrim. I didn't like the combat. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like how it looked. I didn't like how it felt. I didn't like the leveling up. I didn't like... It felt small. It felt real small. Even though it wasn't. It just felt small. I mean, I liked all the wilderness stuff and just going out into the wilderness and fighting a fucking bear, but all the companion shit was crap. Yeah. Like, there was some good moments with it, like the first dragon fight is pretty good, but like fighting a dragon on a mountain while you're falling through the mountain is not a good way to fight a dragon. Double Fine planning to suck more of your money out of your pocket by selling the Amnesia Fortnite 2012 in a box set, which comes with all 5 games created during the development's internal game jam, 2 documentaries, and more, according to the product's listing on the... This comes from Polygon's, so I'm just reading Polygon at this point. Comes with all 5 games In bonus prototypes for Brazen, Costume Quest, Happy Song, and a download code for each game, available immediately on Windows PC. From the Humble Bundle deal for $30. So it's $30 or $45. You can get everything in a slipcase signed by Games Project Lead. For $70, you'll get sleeves signed by all project leads. I don't know. The Double Fine, those games were definitely prototypes. Brazen was the most interesting because I like Monster Hunter and it was just Monster Hunter. But oh my god, right. I like Patrick Klepek, but it bugs me to shit when he was on, when they had Brad Meir on, that thing when they were promoting the Brazen, and the Humble Bundle in general, and the Amnesia Fortnite in general. Patrick Klepek said that Monster Hunter wasn't an online focused game. That just bugs me to shit. Yeah, Brazen needs work. It needs to lose the Monster Hunter combat thing, because Monster Hunter does it well, but it isn't the most enjoyable combat to use all the time. Like, it is great for things. It is not great. Doesn't work well in Brazen. I think just because it seems like West and East mentality are clashing. I don't know. I'm talking on my ass now. I'm tired. So I guess we'll start wrapping this up as it starts to come to the hour mark. So yeah, prepare to lose a lot more money from Double Fine. To Double Fine, I mean Brownie Brown's Nintendo studio, who do they did Super Mario 3D Land and Mother 3. They are changing their name to One Up Studio. I don't know why. Maybe it's more Mario focused now. I don't know. Oh wait, were they the? They were. Oh, they're not the A team. Huh. Oh, they did Heroes of Mana on the DS. Okay. I know who they are now. A cool Kickstarter everyone should probably go check out. I don't know if it's over yet. Let me check this for you. I assume it's not because the trailer. It has 15 days to go and it needs $1,000. If I could, I'd give it $1,000. It is also now coming to the Wii U. It's the if you put it into Kickstarter, the 90s arcade racer. It looks like an HD. It's from the guy who did the Sonic HD remake thing. That was wicked. It was so rad. That it looks so beautiful. This looks even more beautiful. And it's a 90s arcade racer. And it just looks fucking amazing. It needs more people donating to it. It's got 15 days to go, so it's probably going to do it. But it's supposedly also coming to the Wii U. That he drops a little hint. We don't need more rumours. Other than the next Xbox is supposedly going to be revealed in March or April. Might have a subsidized version. No surprise there. That's Microsoft's MO for things. Put out the big version and then put out the little version for people who can't afford the big version. And then ending on a kind of a sad note. Iwata implies that he might resign over poor business performance. When was this? Oh, this is a few days ago now. I don't think people reported on it. From IT Media, but I'm reading this from NeoGAF. If you can't make, it's hinted, it's not hinted because it's not a teaser, it's implied. If you can't make 100 billion yen before the next fiscal year, he might resign, because this is two years in a row where he's failed. In Nintendo's in the business eyes, he has failed. Nintendo are taking big hits at the moment. They only just sold 1 million Wii U's. They're going to take another huge hit. Before it's going to get worse. It's just going to get worse for them. The 3DS is just beginning to pick up. They just need software. They just need to keep pumping software onto it. This guy breaks down the title because people were arguing with him in the NeoGAF thread. Nintendo President Iwata, due to poor business performance, even implication of resignation. Then, like people said, who the hell would hold bananas and host Nintendo Direct? I like Iwata. I really like Iwata. I like Nintendo at the moment. They're being quite transparent with everyone, which is weird because usually they're kind of clammed up. It would say this is Nintendo's last generation before they just, cave in on themselves and become a new Sega. It would be a shame. It would really be a shame. I don't think it's going to happen. I know Michael Pachter's adamant it's going to happen. I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll ride this generation and then try next generation. But I don't know. I can't see the future. It'd be a shame if they went out of business. But it would be still pretty cool to see Metroid Prime on the PC. Or a Metroid game, first-person shooter on the PC. That would be... Could you imagine? Oh, wow. Metroid Hunters on the PC. Huh. Anyway, guys. I guess I'll do another one of these tomorrow, maybe. Not tomorrow, Sunday. I might do one Monday. Maybe I'll just do one Friday night, every Friday night or Saturday, whenever I've got free time, or anything interesting happens. I'll just summarize the day's news, maybe. So I've been Joel Loans. I hope you guys will have a good day. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've listened all the way through and you're now listening to this bit, or you've just skipped ahead, tell me what you think. Would you like actual video over the voice? Or would you like to see me talking into the camera? I like doing these, just talking stuff. Maybe I could get a webcam and stuff. Maybe that would, I don't want to. Maybe because I took out my ass most of the time. I like to think I know what I'm talking about. I don't usually know what I'm talking about. I'm only going off my opinion and stuff like that. So if you got questions or anything, I guess I can set up an Ask FM, maybe, or a form spring, or you can ask me on my Tumblr. I guess I'll link all that in the bottom. All the links will be in the bottom. You can so you can read them if I don't forget. So I hope you guys have a nice time. We've been talking for nearly an hour. I guess we'll end dead on the hour, hopefully, maybe. Let's see. Can we end on the hour? Can we end on the hour? Can we end on the hour? I don't want to be wasting people's time. So yeah, we're not gonna wait for the hour. I guess some kind of music will take us out. See you guys. I really want to get this on the album. My OCD is kicking in. What OCD? Oh. Oh.